The scene opens in a vast, dark chamber, dimly lit with holographic displays floating in midair. Alien leaders from all corners of the galaxy are gathered around a large, circular table. This is the Galactic Council, the governing body of the universe. The room is filled with beings from various species, each more technologically advanced than the next. Their appearances range from insect-like creatures with antennae to sleek, robotic figures that seem to shimmer in the air. But despite their diversity, they all share one thing in common: an overwhelming sense of superiority. At the center of the room, a holographic screen flickers on. It shows a blue and green planet, Earth. A murmur of laughter spreads through the chamber. Some aliens shake their heads in disbelief, while others openly mock the planet and its inhabitants. Humans, primitive creatures, they dare to seek an alliance with us, scoffs one alien, a tall, armored figure with a glowing visor. His voice is laced with amusement. This is the same species that thinks their greatest achievement is creating fire. Another alien, this one with 8 tentacles and a smooth, gelatinous body, adds, "They're no different from the other primitive species we've encountered, fragile and weak. There's no place for them in our intergalactic society." The laughter grows louder, and the council members share smug looks, clearly delighted by the thought of these so-called humans wanting to join their ranks. They view themselves as the pinnacle of evolution, with their advanced technology, powerful fleets, and immortal lifespans. The humans, in their eyes, are nothing more than insects, small, insignificant, and incapable of offering anything of value. As the mockery continues, a soft hum fills the room. All eyes turn toward a new voice. It's the Krelek diplomat, a tall and regal alien with shimmering silver skin and deep blue eyes. She has been mostly silent until now, watching the others with a quiet intensity. "I think we need to reconsider our views on Earth," she says, her voice calm but firm. The room goes quiet. The other council members look at her in surprise. The Krelek diplomat, known for her intelligence and diplomatic skills, is not someone who speaks lightly. The silence in the room is palpable. She raises a holographic device, and the screen changes. The Earth disappears, replaced by detailed, complex data. The numbers and images flash quickly, showing the harsh conditions of the planet. Extreme weather, natural disasters, and dangerous predators fill the screen, alongside data points about human survival. A map of Earth's most hostile environments appears, detailing the various dangers humans face every day. Earth has been classified as a Level 8 HellWorld, she continues, a world so hostile to life that only the strongest can survive there. The words hit like a shockwave. The laughter from before dies instantly. For the first time, the council members are silent, not in amusement, but in stunned disbelief. They stare at the holographic data, their minds struggling to process the information. A reptilian leader from a distant planet scoffs. "This can't be true. How can a species like that survive on such a planet? They must be weak, fragile." The Krelak diplomat presses a few buttons on her device, and the screen zooms in on the most shocking part of the report: human survival rates. Despite facing the most extreme conditions, humanity has managed to thrive. The planet's extreme weather systems, dangerous wildlife, and constant natural disasters have only made humans more resilient. They have learned to fight, to adapt, and to survive in ways that no other species in the galaxy has ever needed to. The leader of the council, a tall alien with metallic skin, dismisses the report with a wave of his hand. "It's just a myth. There's no way such a primitive species could endure such conditions. It's impossible." But despite his dismissal, there's a flicker of doubt in his eyes. The Krelek diplomat, sensing this, steps forward, her voice steady and measured. "There's something you need to understand," she says, locking eyes with the leader. "I've seen Earth with my own eyes. The humans, though seemingly fragile, are more dangerous than they appear. They may not have our technology, but they possess something far more powerful: the will to survive. A tense silence fills the room. The council members exchange uncertain glances. The doubt in the leader's eyes deepens, but he quickly recovers his composure. "That's a bold claim," he says, his voice laced with skepticism. "You're telling me that these humans are capable of challenging us?" The Krillak diplomat nods slowly. "Yes, I suggest we look into this further. We cannot afford to underestimate them." Another alien, a small insectoid creature with multiple eyes, leans forward. "Perhaps we should send a team to investigate. Test these humans. If they are truly as dangerous as you say, we must know." The leader considers this for a moment, his fingers tapping thoughtfully on the table. Finally, he speaks. "Very well. We will send a team to Earth. But mark my words, if this turns out to be nothing but an elaborate hoax, the consequences will be severe." As the council agrees to send an investigative team, the Krillak diplomat stands tall, her expression unreadable. She knows that what lies ahead will either confirm her beliefs or prove that she was wrong. Either way, it will change everything. The meeting ends, and the council members file out of the chamber, their minds filled with questions. Are humans truly as dangerous as the diplomat claims, or are they nothing more than a primitive species unworthy of attention? Outside the chamber, the diplomat stands alone for a moment, gazing at the stars. She knows one thing for sure: Earth is no ordinary world, and the beings who think they can dismiss humanity will soon learn the truth. The question is, will they learn it too late? The stars shine brightly outside the windows of the Galactic Council's flagship, but within its cold, metallic halls, tension brewed. After the shocking reports about Earth's hostile environment, the Council had agreed to send a small reconnaissance team to assess the true threat level of humanity. It was the next step in understanding whether these primitive humans were indeed as dangerous as the Krillak diplomat suggested. The mission was clear: gather intel, observe the humans, and, if necessary, eliminate any potential threats. A small fleet of ships, cloaked and equipped with the latest technology, was prepared for the task. At the helm was a highly skilled team of aliens, all armed to the teeth with advanced weaponry. They were confident that their technology would easily overwhelm any human resistance. The leader of the reconnaissance team was none other than the Krillak diplomat, who had insisted on accompanying the mission personally. Her experience with Earth had given her a unique understanding of the planet's potential dangers, but even she couldn't have predicted what was about to unfold. As their ships emerged from hyperspace above Earth, the Krillak diplomat and her team surveyed the planet from orbit. The lush forests, vast oceans, and towering mountain ranges seemed peaceful from a distance. But the diplomat knew better than to be fooled by appearances. Earth was a battlefield, a deadly world where survival was a constant struggle. The reconnaissance team descended through the atmosphere, their ships cloaked to avoid detection. Their mission was simple: land, observe, and gather intelligence. They weren't expecting much resistance. After all, Earth's technology was far behind theirs. The aliens thought they were invincible. However, as they approached the surface, the first sign of trouble came. The cloaking devices of their ships began to flicker, faintly detectable by Earth's primitive radar systems. It was a small blip, but enough to raise alarms. The aliens brushed it off. Their technology was far superior. Humans couldn't possibly have the means to detect them. But they were wrong. As the team landed deep in a dense forest, the air felt charged with tension. The Krillak diplomat, along with a group of elite soldiers and AI drones, disembarked from their ships. Their advanced equipment hummed quietly, ready for action. The diplomat's eyes scanned the surroundings, the dense foliage and towering trees, creating a perfect hiding spot for any potential threats. "Stay alert," she ordered, her voice calm yet firm. "We don't know what we're dealing with here." The group moved cautiously, the soldiers scanning the area with their high-tech weapons, while the drones hovered overhead, keeping a watchful eye on the terrain. They moved through the dense forest, expecting to find only primitive wildlife, or perhaps some isolated human settlements. What they didn't expect was the first signs of resistance. In the distance, a faint noise reached their ears, rustling, the snap of twigs breaking underfoot. The Krillak diplomat held up a hand, signaling for the team to stop. The aliens crouched low, their eyes trained on the movement ahead. Slowly, the shapes of several humans came into view. They were crouched in the underbrush, watching the aliens from a distance. Their clothes were worn and torn, and they carried weapons that looked rudimentary compared to the advanced technology of the aliens. But there was something in their eyes, an intensity, a determination, that caught the Krillak diplomat off guard. These humans weren't afraid. They were prepared to fight. Captain Bonner, a tall and rugged man with graying hair and a face marked by years of combat, led the small resistance group. His soldiers were a mix of survivors, people who had endured the harsh conditions of Earth for years and had learned to adapt and fight back. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their home. Bonner had seen it all: alien invasions, overwhelming odds, and the loss of many good men. But he never gave up, and he never let his soldiers give up. The moment Bonner saw the aliens, his instincts kicked in. They're not the first aliens to come here, and they won't be the last, he muttered under his breath, gripping his rifle tightly. We'll show them what Earth is made of. The aliens, still confident in their superiority, didn't know what to expect. The Krillak diplomat signaled to her team to approach. They were equipped with cloaking devices, AI drones that could target from miles away, and weapons capable of reducing whole cities to rubble. Surely these humans wouldn't stand a chance. But as the team advanced, things began to go wrong. The first shock came when one of the AI drones suddenly malfunctioned, its sensors flashing wildly. It had been hovering above the group, scanning the environment. The humans had spotted it. A well-aimed shot rang out, and the drone plummeted from the sky, crashing into the ground with a deafening thud. The Krillak diplomat's eyes widened in disbelief. The humans had shot down an AI drone. Impossible, she muttered. Their technology isn't this advanced. But it didn't end there. As the team continued deeper into the forest, more of their drones were destroyed, one by one, until the alien soldiers were forced to ground their ships for a quick regroup. Every time they thought they had the upper hand, the humans would counterattack with surprising efficiency. It wasn't just their weapons. It was the way they fought. The way they thought. The aliens had underestimated them completely. Then came the next shock. The humans had set traps. Basic, crude, but incredibly effective. Hidden pits, tripwires, and explosive devices caught several of the alien soldiers off guard. One soldier, a tall, insectoid being, was caught in a net and hoisted high into the trees, leaving him suspended and helpless. "These are no ordinary creatures," said the Krillak diplomat, her voice filled with awe. "They've adapted to this hostile environment in ways we never anticipated." The humans' tactics were unconventional, using the very land itself as a weapon. The forests, the caves, the rivers, they all became part of the battlefield. The aliens were trained in high-tech combat, but they hadn't prepared for the primitive but effective guerrilla tactics the humans were using. The aliens quickly realized they were in over their heads. Their mission had been simple: to find and assess the threat posed by humanity. What they didn't realize was that Earth's environment had shaped humans into survivors, into warriors. They were not just fighting against nature. They were fighting to protect their home from invaders like these aliens. The Krillak diplomat's mind raced as she watched her team struggle against a force far more powerful than they had anticipated. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. She knew that they needed to regroup and rethink their strategy. But it was too late for that now. The humans had already proven they were a force to be reckoned with, and if the aliens weren't careful, they would become the prey on Earth's deadly battlefield. The Krillak diplomat took a deep breath, realizing the truth. Earth wasn't just a level 8 HellWorld. It was a world where humanity's strength and resourcefulness were its greatest weapons. And now, The aliens were learning that lesson the hard way. The Krillak diplomat stood quietly, her eyes focused on the chaos unfolding before her. Her once immaculate team of technologically advanced aliens had been thrown into disarray by the guerrilla tactics of a small band of humans. What had seemed like an easy mission had quickly spiraled into a nightmare, forcing her to confront an undeniable truth. Humans were not the weak, primitive species they had believed them to be. Earth was not a world that could be easily conquered. The diplomat had underestimated humanity's resilience. She thought that Earth was nothing more than a dangerous, level 8 HellWorld, a planet where only the strongest could survive. But the humans' ability to survive in the face of impossible odds, to outthink and outmaneuver technologically superior enemies, was becoming clear with every encounter. The Krillak diplomat's grip tightened around her weapon as she watched the carnage unfold. Her soldiers were dying. Drones were malfunctioning. The elite alien soldiers were being picked off one by one, and even their AI was struggling to make sense of the humans' unpredictable behavior. What was supposed to be an easy observation mission had turned into a test of survival. Far below, deep in the dense forest where the battle was raging, Captain Bonner and his team were engaged in a desperate fight for survival. They had encountered a much larger alien force, one that had come to reinforce the first scouting party. The odds were stacked against them, but Bonner refused to back down. He had fought too long, lost too much, and survived too many impossible odds to give up now. The battle was fierce. The forest echoed with the sounds of gunfire and explosions. Alien soldiers, with their advanced weapons and shields, moved like a coordinated machine, overwhelming the humans at first. But Bonner and his team weren't like other enemies the aliens had faced. They were survivors, trained by years of hardship and constant conflict on Earth's brutal surface. Bonner fought with everything he had, ducking behind trees, firing his rifle, and giving orders to his soldiers as they fought tooth and nail against the superior alien force. His heart raced, his adrenaline surged, but he was focused. He couldn't afford to lose his team. Not now. Not when they were so close to pushing the aliens back. But the fight took a tragic turn. As the alien forces closed in, Bonner's best friend, Sergeant Keller, was hit. The blast from an alien energy weapon sent him tumbling to the ground. Bonner rushed to his side, pushing through the chaos to reach him. "Keller, stay with me," Bonner shouted, trying to staunch the bleeding. But his friend's breaths were shallow, his pulse weak. I'm sorry, Cap," Keller gasped, his eyes filled with pain. "I knew the risks, but I wanted to fight with you." Tears welled in Bonner's eyes as he held his friend close. "No, you're not going anywhere. You're not leaving me alone." But despite Bonner's desperate efforts, Sergeant Keller died in his arms, his body going limp. The pain of loss surged through Bonner like a wildfire. The grief was overwhelming, but there was no time to mourn. His soldiers needed him. The fight needed him. With a burning fury in his heart, Bonner stood up, wiping the blood from his hands. The alien soldiers were advancing, their weapons raised, but Bonner wasn't going to let them win. Not after what had just happened. He turned to his team, rallying them with a roar. "For Keller, for Earth, we're not going down without a fight." Captain Bonner's voice rang out through the forest, and his soldiers, fueled by the loss of their comrade, redoubled their efforts. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for revenge, for justice, and for the future of humanity. Bonner's mind raced as he formulated a plan. They couldn't go toe-to-toe with the alien forces on the ground, at least not in the traditional sense. But they had something the aliens didn't: the element of surprise, the knowledge of their own world, and the ability to adapt. Using a combination of scavenged alien technology and their own ingenuity, Bonner and his team began to set traps, launching a series of unexpected attacks that threw the aliens off guard. They used alien weapons to strike back with precision, targeting weak points in the alien force's defensive lines. The humans were turning the tide. Then came the key action moment. Bonner's team, having gained some ground, set their sights on an alien command ship, one that was hovering above the battle, providing tactical support to the alien forces. It was a massive vessel, bristling with weapons and defenses, but Bonner saw an opportunity. The aliens were focused on the battle below, their attention divided. Bonner ordered his team to launch a full-scale assault on the command ship. They used alien tech to bypass the ship's shields, slipping inside through an access hatch. Inside, they fought their way through alien soldiers, using their guerrilla tactics to overwhelm the command crew. Bonner was unstoppable, his focus sharp, his thirst for revenge giving him strength. Finally, with a well-placed explosion, the command ship went up in flames, sending debris scattering in all directions. The aliens were reeling from the blow. Bonner's message was clear: humanity would not go down without a fight. As the alien forces scrambled to regain control, Bonner and his team made their escape, leaving behind a field of destruction. The fight was far from over, but they had sent a message. Earth wasn't just a Level 8 HellWorld. It was a place where the underdog could rise up and defeat even the most technologically advanced enemies. Meanwhile, the Krelek diplomat was reeling from the unexpected turn of events. She had underestimated the humans, assuming they were nothing more than primitive beings. But what she was witnessing now was a level of resistance she hadn't thought possible. The humans weren't just fighting to survive. They were fighting with everything they had, using every trick and every advantage at their disposal. The Krelek diplomat realized that her forces had made a grave mistake. The aliens' AI systems, once confident in their predictions, began to detect irregularities in human behavior. The humans weren't predictable like the aliens had assumed. They didn't follow a simple, logical pattern. They were wild, chaotic, and resourceful. It was something that the aliens couldn't account for, something they couldn't understand. "Send for reinforcements," the Krelek diplomat ordered, her voice tight with tension. "We need to rethink our strategy. We've made a serious miscalculation." The aliens had underestimated humanity. They had thought Earth was just another world to conquer, another Level 8 HellWorld to be claimed. But what they were learning was that humans were not like any species they had encountered before. They were resilient, unpredictable, and willing to fight for their survival. And now, the aliens were learning that the cost of underestimating humanity was far greater than they could have ever imagined. The weight of loss hung heavily on Captain Bonner's shoulders as he stood overlooking the battlefield. His soldiers, his comrades, had fought valiantly, but the toll had been high. Sergeant Keller's death still haunted him, a constant reminder of the brutal nature of war. Yet in the depths of his grief, something else was burning inside him: rage, determination, and a fierce desire to strike back. Bonner's voice echoed across the communications network, rallying humanity for a full-scale offensive. "This is our world, and we will not let it fall," he declared. The words spread like wildfire across Earth's resistance forces. Everyone, from soldiers to scientists, to civilians who had been driven to the front lines, answered the call. Humanity was no longer just surviving. They were ready to fight back with everything they had. With the knowledge gained from their first encounters with the alien invaders, humanity had begun to reverse-engineer alien technology. They had developed cloaking devices, AI-boosted systems, and weapons far beyond anything the aliens could have imagined. The secret had been hidden deep within Earth's military projects, waiting for the right moment. That moment had arrived. The war began in earnest. The first salvo was fired from Earth's space stations, where humans launched massive orbital bombardments against the alien fleet. The bombs hit with a terrifying force, sending alien warships spiraling into the void. But the aliens quickly adapted. Their ships were faster and more technologically advanced, and they had learned to counter Earth's tactics. Yet, despite their advancements, the humans were proving to be more unpredictable and more resilient than they had ever anticipated. In space, the battle was relentless. Alien fighters zoomed past human ships, launching deadly energy blasts that lit up the darkness of space. Human pilots, now equipped with cloaking technology, slipped in and out of the shadows, taking the aliens by surprise. They used their knowledge of the terrain, Earth's atmosphere, space, and the hidden weaponry they had reverse-engineered to gain an advantage. Captain Bonner led the charge, commanding a small fleet of human ships equipped with the best technology Earth had to offer. Their mission was simple: strike at the heart of the alien invasion fleet and disrupt their command center. The battle was intense. Human fighters weaved through a barrage of alien gunfire, returning fire with pinpoint precision. Explosions lit up the sky as alien ships were torn apart, and the sound of space combat was deafening in the communication channels. As the space battles raged on, Bonner's resolve hardened. This was more than just a fight for survival. This was about revenge for every fallen soldier, every innocent life lost, and every moment Earth had spent under the shadow of alien tyranny. He wasn't just fighting for himself. He was fighting for all of humanity. The next phase of the attack saw Bonner leading a team of elite soldiers aboard an alien command ship, the heart of their invasion fleet. The ship was heavily fortified, guarded by advanced alien drones and armed soldiers with cybernetic enhancements. But Bonner's team wasn't afraid. They had a plan: use the cloaking technology to infiltrate the ship and destroy its control systems from within. The ship's corridors were dark and narrow, the air thick with tension as Bonner's team silently moved through the halls, cloaked and invisible to the enemy sensors. They encountered little resistance at first, slipping past patrols and planting explosives on critical systems. However, as they neared the central control room, they were detected. The silence was shattered by the hum of alien weaponry charging up and the sound of armored feet pounding against the metal floors. The aliens had activated their security measures. The battle inside the command ship was brutal. Bonner and his team fought tooth and nail against the cybernetically enhanced alien soldiers who were faster, stronger, and more durable than any human. Gunfire echoed through the corridors as Bonner and his soldiers took cover behind walls, returning fire with precision. Explosions rocked the ship as they breached the control room. And then Bonner came face to face with the alien commander, a towering figure, augmented with cybernetic limbs and advanced weaponry. The alien sneered, its voice cold and mechanical as it spoke. "You, humans, are nothing. Weak. Primitive. You cannot defeat us." The alien's confidence was evident, and it made the mistake of underestimating Bonner. With a roar, the two charged at each other, their weapons clashing in a cacophony of sound. Bonner's body was pushed to its limits as the alien commander used its superior strength and speed to land powerful blows. But Bonner's mind was sharper. His survival instincts, honed from years of fighting for his life on Earth's hostile terrain, kicked in. He ducked under an attack, twisting his body to avoid a lethal strike. Then, with a well-placed punch, he disabled the alien's cybernetic enhancements, sending it stumbling backward. The fight was far from over, but Bonner's human willpower proved stronger than the alien's technological advantage. With a final, crushing blow, he sent the commander to the floor, lifeless. The alien's superior technology had been no match for Bonner's raw determination and innovation. But the victory came at a cost. Bonner was wounded, his body battered and bruised from the intense combat. As he stood over the fallen commander, breathing heavily, he knew this was just the beginning. The alien invaders might have lost their leader, but their forces were still vast, and Earth's struggle was far from over. Back outside, the battle continued to rage. Human ships, now armed with alien tech, struck at the heart of the alien invasion fleet, taking down ships one by one. The sound of exploding alien vessels filled the air as humans, who had once been on the verge of extinction, fought back with everything they had. The tide of the war was beginning to shift. Humanity was no longer the underdog. It was a force to be reckoned with. In the chaos of the battle, Bonner managed to plant the final explosive near the core of the mothership's central AI unit. But just as he was about to activate it, a massive AI-controlled drone, larger than any they had seen, charged toward him. Its metal limbs were equipped with razor-sharp blades, and its body was nearly impervious to their gunfire. Bonner ducked as the drone swung its arm at him, narrowly avoiding the attack. His team continued to fire, but the drone's advanced technology allowed it to dodge and block their shots with terrifying precision. Bonner knew they didn't have much time. The alien fleet was closing in on Earth, and this was their only chance to stop it. Then, in a move that would forever haunt Bonner, his best soldier, Corporal Alex Rodriguez, stepped forward. Rodriguez had been with Bonner through every battle, a loyal and brave soldier who had survived countless skirmishes. But now he knew what had to be done. "Get out of here, Captain," Rodriguez shouted, his voice filled with determination. "I'll hold them off. You finish the mission." Bonner shook his head, refusing to leave his friend behind. But Rodriguez pushed him forward, his voice filled with urgency. "You're the only one who can finish this. We can't let the aliens win." With a final glance, Bonner turned and activated the explosive, setting a timer that would destroy the AI core and the mothership's command center. The countdown had begun, but as Bonner and the remaining team members fled toward the shuttle, they could hear the sounds of the battle raging behind them. The AI drones were relentless, and Rodriguez was giving his life to hold them back. Just as they reached the shuttle bay, the explosion rocked the ship. The force of the blast sent shockwaves through the hull, and the alien mothership began to tremble. Bonner's heart sank as he realized Rodriguez had not made it out. His friend, his brother-in-arms, had sacrificed himself to ensure the mission's success. With the countdown still ticking, Bonner and the survivors boarded the shuttle and launched away from the mothership. As they ascended into space, they watched in awe as the alien ship exploded in a fiery blaze, sending debris scattering into the void. The mothership was gone, its control over the invasion fleet shattered. But Bonner could only think of one thing: Rodriguez's sacrifice. The humans had won, but at a great cost. As the survivors made their way back to Earth, Bonner reflected on the sacrifice made by his friend and the thousands of others who had given their lives in this war. Their mission had succeeded. The aliens had been defeated, but humanity had paid a heavy price. The victory was bittersweet, and Bonner knew that it would take time for the wounds to heal. Yet, despite the pain, there was a sense of hope. Humanity had proven itself against the most advanced alien forces in the galaxy. They had fought back, using their ingenuity, resilience, and determination to turn the tide of war in their favor. And while the scars of this war would remain, humanity would rise again. The alien invaders were gone. The Earth was safe, and Captain Bonner, though broken and scarred, knew that the legacy of their victory would live on. Humanity had shown the galaxy that it would never back down, no matter the odds. As the shuttle made its way back to Earth, Bonner looked out at the stars, knowing that, no matter what came next, humanity had earned its place among the stars. And the aliens would never forget the price they had paid for underestimating humanity. The silence after the destruction of the alien mothership was deafening. Captain Bonner and his team had made it back to Earth, their mission a success, but the cost of victory weighed heavily on their hearts. The smoke from the wreckage of the mothership still lingered in space, a reminder of the epic battle they had fought. The invasion fleet, now without command, had retreated, leaving Earth to stand victorious. The battle for humanity's survival had been won, but the scars of war would last forever. On Earth, celebrations erupted across the globe. The streets were filled with people cheering, hugging, and crying with joy. News of the victory spread like wildfire, and the human race began to realize just how much they had achieved. Against all odds, they had defeated a superior alien force, one that had underestimated them from the very beginning. Humanity had proven itself, not just as survivors, but as fighters, as warriors capable of overcoming impossible odds. However, even as Earth celebrated, the Galactic Council, the governing body of the universe, watched from afar. The Council had been observing the conflict from the shadows, unsure of how to handle this unexpected threat. For centuries, they had held power over the galaxy, manipulating the fates of countless species, and the rise of humanity had caught them by surprise. The Council had always believed that they were the dominant force in the galaxy, that no one could challenge their authority. But now, they had to face the reality that humanity had done what no other species had managed to do. They had taken down the mighty alien invaders. They had crushed the Galactic Council's plan for domination. Inside the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, the Krelek diplomat, who had once dismissed humanity as nothing more than a primitive species, sat in silence. His fingers tapped nervously on the armrest of his chair. The Krelek had always prided themselves on their advanced technology, their powerful fleets, and their ability to crush any opposition. Yet, in the face of humanity's unexpected resistance, they had been forced to retreat. The Krelek diplomat, once a skeptic who mocked humanity's chances of survival, now had to confront the truth. His species had underestimated Earth. The human will to survive, their ability to adapt, and their ingenuity had shattered the belief that the Krelek were the greatest force in the galaxy. The diplomat knew that humanity's victory was not just a fluke. It was a sign of something much greater, something that the galaxy could no longer ignore. The Krelek diplomat stood before the Council, his head lowered in respect. He had never imagined he would be the one to deliver this message, but it was now unavoidable. Humanity, he began, his voice filled with awe, has proven themselves. They have earned their place in the galaxy. They are now one of the most dangerous species in the universe. The members of the Galactic Council exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time in centuries, their authority was being questioned. The Krelek diplomat's words were not just a declaration of respect. They were a warning. Humanity was no longer the underdog. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would need to adjust to this new reality. As the Council deliberated on how to handle this new power back on Earth, Bonner stood alone on the surface of the planet, gazing up at the stars. The weight of everything that had happened over the past few weeks, the loss of so many comrades, and the intense battles, was heavy on his shoulders. He could still feel the pain of losing his best friend, Rodriguez, and so many others who had given their lives for this victory. Their sacrifice had not been in vain, but the emptiness it left behind would never truly go away. Bonner took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the night sky. Earth was safe, but this victory was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing against the most advanced alien forces, but there was so much more ahead. The stars were no longer just distant points of light. They represented new challenges, new frontiers, and new possibilities. Earth had earned its place in the galaxy, but now it would have to defend it. "We've just begun," Bonner muttered to himself, a quiet sense of pride in his voice. His words were not just for himself, but for all of humanity. This was only the first chapter of their story, and the universe was vast, with dangers and opportunities beyond their wildest imaginations. There would be more battles, more challenges, and more enemies to face. But humanity had shown that it could rise to any occasion, that it could face whatever the universe threw at it. As Bonner stood there, the camera pulled back, revealing the Earth beneath him. The blue planet, once thought to be insignificant, was now a symbol of strength and resilience in the galaxy. The humans had fought for their survival, and in doing so, they had proven that they belonged among the stars. In the distance, the stars twinkled brightly. Some of them, far away, represented civilizations that were already aware of humanity's victory. Others were still oblivious, unaware of the new power that had emerged on the cosmic stage. But no matter where they were, the humans now knew that they had earned the respect of the galaxy. The Earth had been forever changed. No longer would it be a forgotten world. Humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. The battle for Earth was over, but the war for the future was just beginning. Bonner's eyes narrowed as he looked up at the night sky, determination filling his heart. He knew that this victory was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and there were still countless challenges ahead. But now, humanity stood as a force to be reckoned with. The Kralak diplomat had admitted it. The Galactic Council had acknowledged it. And soon, the rest of the galaxy would know the truth. Earth was no longer a weak, insignificant planet. It was a power in its own right. And the stars would never forget the price humanity had paid to prove it. As Bonner stood there, staring at the stars, the camera slowly panned away, the Earth beneath him growing smaller. But the voiceover echoed in the silence, a reminder of humanity's unbreakable spirit. We've just begun.